Hey everyone, welcome back to the platform podcast for the Great Plains region, where we talk about bright shining stars from the Great Plains and a little bit from Florida and around. Want to open it up with I went to a game Thursday night, which was Highland Park versus Atchison. Highland Park won 42-18. Atchison has been beating Highland Park every year, but Highland Park has a really good team coming out this year with a lot of stars, a lot of speed. Really improved. So they won 42-18. Dontrell Fox, he had a 73-yard touchdown pass to JoJo Kincannon. He had a 57-yard touchdown pass to Jihani Montgomery, and a 52-yard touchdown pass to Tremaine Savage. And Tremaine also added a 2-point conversion reception on the game. Jihani also added a 2-yard touchdown run on there. And Genesis Cooper, who is a really good friend of mine, he had a 55-yard touchdown run. Genesis is a wonderful young man, and I'm hoping that coaches get to noticing him. Genesis Cooper out of Highland Park, Topeka, Kansas. Really good kid. Really water bug quicks. Really fast, but really quick. So then we move over to Atchison. Atchison had two guys that really stood out. Leighton Boldridge, he had over 75 yards rushing. He had 3 pass breakups and a fumble recovery. Leighton Boldridge from Atchison, a really good athlete. Yogi Purdy has wonderful size, and he had some nice catches from the tight end position. He can also line up in the backfield. He's an all-purpose offensive weapon. Really good hands. Runs the ball hard. He's probably a better linebacker. That's probably where he'll make his money at. But really active, tough. Again, really good size linebacker. Yogi Purdy. And those guys are from Atchison. And then Friday night I went to Topeka Seaman, and they hosted Shawnee Heights. Shawnee Heights is a very talented team. They had a bunch of guys either didn't play because they were hurt or got hurt early. But Shawnee Heights was able to win 20-3. And one of the standout players, really another good slot receiver, really finds the holes in the zone, adjusts his routes really well, is AJ Gallegos. He had a 10-yard touchdown pass. He had over 75 total receiving yards. He also had 2 pass breakups at cornerback. So he's just a really active, really good player, AJ Gallegos. And they have a field goal kicker, Camden Granado. He's a 2026. AJ is a 2026 also. But the 2026 kicker, he had a couple 31-yard field goals, both of them. And they added a 26-yard touchdown reception by Javon Williams. However, the guy that stood out the most for me for Shawnee Heights was Dallas Owens. Dallas had lots of fourth down conversions. I think he finished with like probably over about 100 yards receiving. His biggest moment, though, and this is something that again you don't see on a lot of scouting reports, but Shawnee Heights was driving and they were inside the 15. They were driving in for touchdown inside the 15. Shawnee Heights quarterback Aiden Scott dropped back to throw. He threw into triple coverage. Really errant throw, and he threw right to the Seaman. One of the 3 Seaman defenders were there to pick it off. And that was inside the 10, and he took off running, and there was nobody in sight. Nobody. He was going for a pick 6, over 80-yard pick 6. And Dallas did not give up on the play. He showed his speed. He showed his angle. He did not quit. And he caught back up and actually caught the Seaman defender right around the 30 and made the tackle because he didn't give up on the play. Again, those are things that you won't see on the scouting report, but you will from a DR Sports and the platform report because we are there. So great job, Dallas Owens. Again, really good wide receiver. Runs really good routes, really good hands. But his effort stands him apart. So over on the defensive side, Shawnee Heights had Evan Johnson, and Evan Johnson to me was the defensive MVP of that game. Evan Johnson was in on almost every single tackle. He has really, really good side-to-side pursuit. His hips stay parallel with the line of scrimmage. He didn't cross his feet, and he's really, really aggressive. He's a sure tackler too. So Evan Johnson, he's a 2026 from Shawnee Heights. He was my defensive MVP. So then I want to go over to the Seaman side, where I had two guys. One of them, Noah Kobacheski. I'd seen it at the KU Mega Camp. Really, really, really love this guy. Really good young man, but excellent, excellent hands for a tight end. But he also blocks extremely well at the point. He's a true tight end. He's not a hybrid. He will block at the line of scrimmage. He's an every down tight end, not just a pass catching tight end. Again, when he blocks the defender to the sideline. He doesn't stop at the hole at the line of scrimmage and then stop. He keeps blocking through all the way through to the drives his defender into the stands. But again, really, really, he does have really good hands. Then Coy Barta. Coy Barta was absolutely the offensive MVP for Seaman. He had multiple big time receptions where Seaman really needed to have it. Coy was there. I don't know that he dropped a pass all night. Really, really dependable hands. It's Coy Barta out of Topeka Seaman. So again, Shawnee Heights won 20-3, and that's my report from there. Great job, guys. So then we want to move on to the Kansas standouts. Again, started off with a team that I usually started off with, KC Washington. Jamari Williams is a 2026, and he had 2 receptions for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Darian Baskin had 5 catches for 41 yards and an 89-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Then Cameron Fields, who is one of my all-star state of Kansas players. I mean, he's having a wonderful season. He's a 2027. Cameron Fields, he had 6 catches for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Khalil Bay, he's a 2027. He had 9 carries for 131 yards and a touchdown and 2 receptions for 21 yards. Then we have Xavion Haslett, who is a 2028. Probably the way he's going right now, he's probably going to be the number 1 2028 recruit in the state of Kansas if he keeps this up. He had 8 tackles, 2 solo, 6 assists, 3 tackle for losses, 2 sacks, and 3 QB hurries. And then Savion Stone, whose recruitment is extremely on fire. Coaches, if you need a quarterback, you better get in on this guy real quick. Check his highlight film. Get with his head coach. Really starting to shoot up the recruiting rankings. Savion Stone, he's a 2026. He was 18 of 24 for 337 yards, 4 touchdowns. And rushing, he had 5 carries for 83 yards and 3 touchdowns. So get in on those guys real quick because they're going fast, especially Savion. So then I want to move to 2026 Conrad Gomez out of Junction City. They had a big win over Topeka High. He was 12 of 20 for 247 passing yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He also ran the ball 5 times for 30 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He plays for Kansas Colts 7-on-7. Then we go to the number 1 running back in the state of Kansas, Callan Arndt. Talk about him on every show. Running back out of St. Thomas of Aquinas. He had 229 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he had his usual dominating performance. Callan Arndt out of St. Thomas Aquinas. Then we got 2027 Terrence Bryant. He is a nickel out of St. Thomas Aquinas. And he plays for Building Champions 7-on-7. He had 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 pass breakup. Then 2027 Grady Myers. He's a running back safety out of Mulvane. He's a 2-sport athlete, with baseball being his other really good sport. He has 6 rushes for 85 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. 1 reception for 15 yards, and then he also had a pass breakup on defense. 2026, Razion Shears, he's a linebacker out of Derby. He has multiple D2 offers. He's another one you might want to get in on pretty quick. 12 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass breakup. Then we go to one of my favorite linebackers in the entire universe, 2026 Cody Wright. He's a linebacker running back out of Colby. He is a sharp performance, 7-on-7. Now, again, his linebacker skills is what sets him apart. That's where he's going to make his money on Saturdays. But for running, he had 13 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then he had, and then he also has, he's the number 1 kickoff return yards total, and then the number 3 kickoff return average in the state of Kansas, and he has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. But also in the game, he had 7 tackles and 1 pass breakup. So, again, he's a linebacker, running back, and return specialist. Again, he's number 1 in yards on kickoff returns and number 3 in average per game kickoff returns, and he has 2 touchdowns. Then we go to 2026 Kansas Colt Nolan Durr. He's a defensive end out of Cheney. He had 1 sack, 3 tackle for loss, 13 total tackles. What I really like about Nolan is he's one of the quickest off the line of scrimmage. He is in that backfield before the running back even gets started. He always keeps his hips parallel. Again, he's deep as the deepest back. Fundamentally, Nolan Durr is the pristine, perfect DN that you want on your team. Then we go to another Kansas Colt, 2026 Jared Whitney out of Clearwater. And he had 12 rushes for 48 yards, 1 reception for 36 yards. He had 3 tackles, 1 pass breakup, which happened to be the game-saving in the end zone pass breakup. For the season, he has 18 unassisted tackles, 4 assisted tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 interception, and 1 pass breakup. I want to tell a quick story about Jared Whitney. I was at a 7-on-7 tournament, and again, he plays for the Kansas Colts. He went up against a tight end that is a KU commit, and one of the best tight ends in this area. Again, KU commit. Whitney held him to 0 catches, and the coverage was so tight that the quarterback only threw to him 1 time, and the quarterback actually overthrew him. And so Jared Whitney held this KU commitment to 0 catches. After the game, I went to talk to Jared, and I asked him, I said, "You know who that is, right?" And he said, "No, I don't know." And I said, "That's KU commit." And then I told him who it was. He had no idea. He completely shut down that tight end commit for KU. So Jared Whitney out of Clearwater, Kansas Colt, wonderful DB. Then I go to 2027 Cordell Johnson. I've talked about him many times. He's a wonderful track guy. DB out of Wichita Northwest. Wichita Northwest had a huge win over Manhattan this weekend. He's in the top 3 on my. If you read my article I put out last week, where I mentioned the top 3 out of each position that I've seen through the season. So that's the bucket list. Cordell Quicks Johnson he's in the top 3 DBs on my bucket list. He had 6 tackles, 1 pick 6, 2 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble in that huge win over Manhattan. Then I got 2026 Brett LeDuc, quarterback out of Blue Valley West. He's a Highland Park, Texas transfer. He only played 1 half because of a 42-3 halftime, so they pulled him at half. But in 1 half, he was 12 of 12 for 229 yards, 5 touchdown passes. And to me, I've said it before on the other podcast, Brett LeDuc is the most college-ready right now quarterbacks in the state of Kansas, in my opinion. He combines a great mechanics with wonderful size. I think he is the most college-ready quarterback in the state of Kansas. Then we go to 2026 Cole Frank. He's an all-around athlete for Wabaunsee. He is a sharp performance guy. He had 8 carries, 152 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was 1 of 1 for passing for an 18-yard touchdown pass. Then he had 3 catches for 117 yards with 1 touchdown reception. Then on defense, he had 5 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. So that's an all-around performance there. 2026 Josiah Gooch. He's a running back linebacker out of Hillsboro. He is a Washington Ichabods commit. In a 52-33 win over Ellsworth, he had 10 carries for 201 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he also had 11 tackles on defense. Then we go to 2026 Arlie Morrell. He's a tight end out of Pratt. He is a Colorado State commit. He had 10 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. And then on offense, he set all school records in all these categories. He had 9 catches. He had 173 yards and 4 touchdown receptions. All 3 of those are school records at Pratt. Again, that's 2026 Arlie Morrell. He's a Colorado State commit. Then we got 2026 Zane Viegra, quarterback out of Hayes. I talk about him almost every show because he's such a standout quarterback. In a 42-19 win over Dodge City, he was 6 of 10 for 116 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Then he had 11 rushes for 41 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Zane Viegra out of Hayes. Again, Hayes is probably my number 1 team in the state. They have a really good game versus Great Bend this coming weekend, so we're gonna see a really good game. 2026 Braden Maiovella. He is a quarterback wide receiver out of Mays. Now, he was their quarterback then. They had Easton Melton come in, a really good friend of mine, come in, and Easton hurt his foot, so they put him back. They put Braden Maiovella back at quarterback, and they've never looked back. Maiovella led him to a 49-0 win over Mays South. He has offers from Boston College in Tulsa. He's a 6'3", 205, so he's got great size. I think he projects out more of a wide receiver for where he goes for BC or Tulsa. If I had to guess, I'd probably say he's a Tulsa guy. But we'll see. He had 3 rushing TDs, 2 passing TDs in their win over Mays South. 2026 Lick Armstrong. He's a running back out of Wellington. He had 16 carries, 198 yards with 4 touchdowns. I saw him at that McPherson camp, I believe it was. Really fast. He tested out I want to say he tested out as the fastest guy at that camp, possibly. So that's Lick Armstrong. Then we got 2026 Brody Hale, quarterback out of Blue Valley West. I want to say Brody could possibly be my new favorite quarterback in Kansas. I really like what this guy's bringing. He had a huge win over Mill Valley. Mill Valley is either the state champions or the state runner-ups every year. Huge win over them. He was 15 of 23 for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added 11 carries for 60 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, that's Brody Hale out of Blue Valley West, and he has Blue Valley West. They are definitely going to challenge for that state of Kansas championship. 2027, Cooper Harris, a linebacker out of Hutchinson. He had 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery. That's Cooper Harris out of Hutchinson. Then we got Quentin Stark, who is a 2026 wide receiver out of Osage City. He had 8 receptions for 173 yards and 3 touchdown receptions. Osage City is having a wonderful year. Quentin Stark is part of that, the reason why. Then we have the fastest guy in Kansas. I'm telling you, 2026 Braden Pappas. He's a running back out of Goddard Eisenhower. I've talked to you before about him. Again, I think he's the fastest guy in Kansas. He had 1 catch for 25 yards. He has 407 all-purpose yards. School rushing. He set a school record for rushing yards in the game this weekend. 29 carries for 382 yards. Again, he had 407 all-purpose yards in this game, but he had 382 rushing yards in this one game. 2026, my hidden gem in the state of Kansas is William Voos, running back out of Sabetha. He had 20 carries for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. They lost to Nemaha Central Nemaha Central is the state champions every year. Sabetha lost by 2 to them Friday night, and Sabetha missed 2 field goals, so they would have won it. So look for those two teams, Nemaha Central and Sabetha, to face off again at state, and look for William Voos to really take over that game, because I believe in him. 2026, Cade Mitchell, athlete, Topeka Hayden. Told you every week, this guy's a standout. This guy, you need to get him recruited. Pitt State's on him hard. You better go after him because Pitt State's going to get him. 53-22 win over Holton. He had 16 carries for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's Cade Mitchell. You'll hear me talk about him again. Then we have, out of Manhattan, we have 2027 Joseph Mortensen. He's a running back DB. He's allowed 0 receptions. He had 1 pass breakup. He had 4 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown. And he also added 30 yards kickoff return. So Joseph Mortensen plays both sides of the ball and plays it really, really well. Then I want to go to 2029 Adonis Dunnigan. He's a DB out of for that Manhattan team. He will be the top 2029 recruit in the state of Kansas. He had 2 pass breakups and 1 tackle. As a freshman, you don't play for Manhattan. Okay, you have to be something special to be a freshman and play at Manhattan, Kansas. He is him. Again, he will be the number 1 recruit in 2029. Every D1 Power 4 team will be on Adonis Dunnigan, so you might want to contact their coach and get a hold of them, because you'll want him. So then we go to 2026 Connor Thatcher. He's a quarterback out of Valley Center. He's another one of my favorites. Him and Brody Hale, both have really stepped up to buckets on my favorite quarterbacks list in Kansas. One of the things I saw Connor Thatcher do is he throws that out route from the pocket, and that is a throw that only good college quarterbacks can do in college. Most have to roll out to make that sideline route to get it there in time and before the DB can get there. Connor hits it from the pocket. I mean, it's a 3-step drop, and he hits the out route, 10-yard out. He hits it. That's why I like what I really like what I see out of Connor Thatcher. He was 20 of 40 for 310 yards, and he had 3 passing TDs, and that was against Derby. And again, Derby's a really good team, so to do that, 20 of 40 for 310 yards, 3 passing touchdowns versus Derby is saying something. Then we go to, I have 2 from Salina South, 2026 Rayshawn Jones. He's a DB out of Salina South, 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pick 6. In 2027, Maddox Gerard is a linebacker out of Salina South. He had 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 pass breakups. Then 2027, Ben Cullen. He's a quarterback out of Girard. He's a 6'3", 200-pound. Again, 2027, 6'3", 200-pound. In their 45-13 win over Burlington, he had 6 total TDs. He was 10 of 12 passing for 186 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and 2 rushing touchdowns. They switched him from running back to quarterback. He was running back last year, and they switched him to quarterback this year, so that just shows his ability to play anywhere. Ben Cullen out of Girard, Kansas, again, 2027. 2028, quarterback Holden Ferrales. You heard me talk about him many times. Kansas Colts quarterback out of Sedgwick. He was 12 of 23 for 326 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Then on defense, he had 6 tackles and 1 interception. Again, he is a 2028, and he's throwing 12 of 23 for 326 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Again, as a 2028. So watch this guy's recruitment to soar. Then I want to go to my last guy for Kansas is 2027 running back Roman Byers out of KC Piper. In their win over Lansing, he had 12 carries for 202 yards and 4 touchdowns. Here's what I got to say about Roman. You've heard me talk about many times about LG Bowens out of Blue Valley Northwest, and how before this season, LJ's recruitment really was kind of stagnant, and he only had like 3 or 4 offers. And then this season, he really excelled in his 2026 season, in his senior season. And I've spoken about LJ a lot on this show. His recruitment has exploded, and I think he's got like 10 more offers since this season began off of his showing on the field this year. I was told by other scouts in the business that if a player doesn't have all these offers before his senior season, he needs to think about committing, because it's probably all he's going to get. I did not believe that. I did not for 1 second believe that. So I really wanted to expose LJ's talents. So that's what I did. And LJ has more than done his part, and shown what a great running back LJ is. That's what I see out of Roman Byers. I see, again, he's 2027. I see him going to camps this summer, and then really balling out next year. I believe Roman Byers out of Casey Piper next year will be a top 2 or 3 running back in Kansas. So I really implore you, college coaches, to go take a look at Roman Byers out of Casey Piper. So those are my Kansas standouts. What I'd like to do now is talk about, since I'm a 7-on-7 guy, I'd like to talk about Sharp Performance. You've heard me talk many times about Sharp Performance. They're the top training center for football players in the state of Kansas. They are mostly located right in the center, right in the heart of Kansas. So what he's done is he's provided all these players from all over the Kansas to come in and train for him. If you want training, go to Sharp Performance. He is the best in Kansas. What he's done is he's taken his guys from all over Kansas and said, he had a 7-on-7 team. He wants to spread those out. He wants to give his kids that come to train an opportunity, more of his kids to get more opportunities. So he's teamed up with Kansas Colts and GT7, Grind Time 7, which was Kansas Elite. And so those players, if you're watching this and you go to Sharp, please decide which one of those 2 teams you want to go play for, and be a star on those teams. Get major exposure out of both teams. Both teams will really get you some major competition and exposure. Colts and GT7 are wonderful. You need to play. If you are not on a 7-on-7 team, but you want to go train with Sharp, please do, and then make your decision on that. But please go out for one of these 2 teams, and please seek your training through Sharp Performance. So that's what I got to say about Kansas. So let's move to Missouri, where I have my guy that I talk about every week, my favorite linebacker in the state of Missouri, Colby McGehee out of Neosho. He is a GC7, Game Changer 7-on-7. He's a 2027. He is on my top 3 bucket list for linebackers in the country. In a 31-28 loss to Joplin, which is no slouch. That's not a bad loss, especially 31-28. But Colby, what he seems to do is against these big, because Neosho plays some major players in Missouri. But what Colby does is he comes away with high double-digit tackle numbers at the end of every game. So he is just a fabulous linebacker down in Neosho. In that loss to Joplin, he had 15 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 pass breakup. Then we have one of my favorite running backs in the state of Missouri. 2026, Adam Geisler. He's a running back, linebacker out of Platte County. Played for Epic 7 Midwest. He's only played 5 games due to an AC joint injury. That, let me make this clear, he is 100% back from that. The AC joint is not an issue, so I just want to point that out. But he has had on his season 36 carries, 374 yards with 9 touchdowns and 4 receiving yards. So Adam Geisler out of Platte County, one of my favorites. Then I want to go to Blue Springs South. They have a couple players I want to mention. 2026 wide receiver Gary Hill III. He played for Empire 7-on-7. He had 6 receptions for 163 yards, 2 touchdown receptions, and he had 90 yards after catch yards. And he has offers from Delaware State and Utah State offers, but those offers are going to start going up a lot for Gary. He is a big-bodied wide receiver, really quick, but he is a big-body receiver that can go up and get the ball for you. But Blue Springs, they won 7-0. They're at 7-0 after a win over Liberty, and their quarterback, Blue Springs South quarterback, who is Aiden Wilhelm. He's a 2026 quarterback. Now he also played for Empire 7-on-7. He is a Rice commit. And many think he is the best quarterback in Kansas City area, and I tend to agree. Aiden Wilhelm, Rice commit. He had 255 passing yards, with 5 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown in that win over Liberty. And again, Blue Springs South is 7-0 now. Then I want to go to another guy who's spoken many times. He's 2027, Bryce Alford out of Baldwin. He was 12 of 17 for 138 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and then he added 12 rushing attempts for 80 yards. Bryce is, again, he's one of those real huge team leaders. If you're looking for a quarterback that can lead your team and be the consummate team player, it's Bryce Alford. Let's go to the number 1 quarterback on the bucket list in the nation. My number 1 quarterback, 2026 quarterback Rocco Marriott out of Platte County. In their 63-0 win over Truman, he was 8 of 12 for 226 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Then he rushed the ball 3 times for 40 yards with 1 rushing touchdown. Then 2026 running back Barrett Miller out of Mountain Home. He had 11 carries, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then he also added 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. Then we'll go to a 2026. He's a kicker, wide receiver, DB, do everything. Max Thomas out of St. Michael's the Archangel. Now kicking, he was 4 of 4 on point afters. He had a 46-yard field goal, and on his punts, he had 1 punt, and he nailed it inside the 20. Now, at wide receiver, he had 4 catches for 62 yards. On defense, he allowed 0 catches and had 6 tackles. Now, when I spoke earlier, I went to a game Thursday night, which was Highland Park and Atchison. I actually sat down with St. Michael's the Archangel, one of their coaches, and we were talking about football, and I brought up Max's name, and he absolutely loves this kid. So from a coach, Max Thomas is a wonderful kid. Coach said he can play anywhere. He's just a natural-born athlete, just a God-given talent. When you see him, you know he's a great football player, and that's what he's built to do. So Max Thomas, St. Michael's the Archangel, again, kicker, punter, wide receiver, DB, you name it, he will do it for you. So that's Missouri. Let's go to Oklahoma. 2026 Kenny Golston. He's a running back out of Valiant. He is an Idaho Vandals commit. He played for C4, and I saw him in a 7-on-7 tournament down in Oklahoma City. Again, he's a 3-star running back, Idaho Vandals commit. He only played 1 half. So in 1 half, he had 16 carries, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then he added a 27 yards in receptions And on defense, he had 2 tackles on defense. So then I want to go to 2028, Carter Vaughn. He is a quarterback out of Collinsville, and he is 6'5", 215. He's a 2028, 6'5", 215 quarterback. In their 35-23 win over Tahlequah, he was 24 of 30, 364 yards with 5 passing touchdowns. So this is a guy you really want to keep an eye on out of Oklahoma. 2028, Carter Vaughn, 6'5", 215, and he threw for 364 yards, 24 of 30 too. So then I want to go to one of the most biggest standout performers of the year. 2026, Caden Jones. He's a running back out of Jenks. Now, if you know football, you know Jenks is a national powerhouse. He was committed to Oklahoma State, and he decommitted this week and then committed to KU. He followed that up with a school record 445 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns. He had 549 all-purpose yards, and he has 67 career touchdowns. So Caden Jones, the new KU commit, out of Jenks, 445 yards and 8 touchdowns. So good job, Caden Jones. Look forward to watching you in Lawrence. Let's move over to Arkansas. We have 2027 Kane Price, quarterback out of Stuttgart High School. He was 5 of 20 for 300 yards with 5 touchdown passes. So let me repeat that, 5 of 20 with 5 touchdown passes. You do the math. He had 7 carries for 50 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So 6 touchdowns total for Kane Price, 2027 out of Stuttgart High School. 2027, Taquan Hall. He's a running back. He had 13 carries, 102 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Then we got 2028, Brylan Hogan. He had 2 interceptions. And all those are all Stuttgart guys, and they are 6-0 with a 56-28 win. So again, all those guys are Stuttgart. Taquan Hall, 13 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown. Brylan Hogan had 2 interceptions. And Kane Price, 5 of 20, 300 yards, and 5 touchdown passes. So then we go over to Minnesota, where Minnesota, I always talk about 6'12 quarterbacks. They are a quarterback training facility there in Minnesota. If you are a quarterback in the state of Minnesota and you are a major recruit, you are going to go to 6'12 quarterbacks. So I want to mention 4. I got 4 of their quarterbacks here. Again, these are all 6'12 quarterback trainees. 2026, Quinn Curry out of Eastview High School versus Eden Prairie. He was 21 of 32 for 244 yards and 2 touchdown passes. 2026, Kyler Tom out of Minneapolis Southwest was 16 of 24, 223 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and he added 61 rushing yards. 2026, Isaac Johnson, Cretin-Durham Hall's quarterback. He was 17 of 23 for 269 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He also plays for Minnesota Grind 7-on-7. Then we got 2027, Mason Hansen out of Painesville High School in a 36-6 win over Royalton. He had 259 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes, and added 58 rushing yards. Again, those are all 6'12 quarterbacks. So if you are up and coming quarterback, young quarterback in Minnesota, you need to get with 6'12 quarterbacks. Then go to Iowa. I have 2026 Dylan Mason, quarterback out of Danville, versus number 11 ranked Pekin. He was 27 of 32 for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then I go to 2026 Kyle Tracy, a quarterback out of Iowa City, Regina, in a 49-8 win. He only played 1 half. He was 7 of 7 for 386 yards and 6 touchdown passes. That's in 1 half. 386 yards and 6 touchdown passes in 1 half for 2026 Kyle Tracy out of Iowa City, Regina. Then go to 2026, Ethan Headings. I've spoken about him a couple times on shows. He's a DB wide receiver out of Iowa City West. He is IA football. He is their ranked number 1 wide receiver in Iowa. Again, IA football ranks number 1 wide receiver in Iowa. Ethan Headings, 2026, out of Iowa City West. He had 2 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. He also added an 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and then he had 3 tackles. Let's move over to Michigan. 2027, Drayson Foster, quarterback out of Coldwater. I mentioned him a couple times. He trains with QB University. He had 305 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. 2027, Zeke Adrena. He's an athlete out of Otsego High School. He had 5 catches for 91 yards, 2 touchdown catches. He had 50 kickoff return yards. He had 143 all-purpose yards, and he added 7 tackles. 2027, Zeke Adrena. And his teammate at Otsego High School in Michigan was 2026, Chris Wyrick. He's a wide receiver. He had 6 catches for 148 yards, 1 touchdown catch, 2 point afters, and 4 tackles. Then go over to Indiana for the number 1 rusher in America. He is the number 1 most yards in the nation out of Indiana. 2026, Miles McLaughlin out of Knox High School. He helped Knox clinch the Indiana North Conference title with a 44-15 win over Bremen. He had 395 yards and 6 touchdowns. Just another day at the office for that Miles McLaughlin. Ohio, state of Ohio, 2026, Coop Heimbach. He's a kicker punter out of Wheelersburg. He is a 5-star kicker. He is ranked number 10 punter in the nation by Coles. So that's telling you how good he is. If Coles ranks you as number 10 punter in the country, Cooper Heimbach is it. Again, out of Wheelersburg. He was 4 of 4 on point afters, 1 of 1 for field goal, which was 43 yards, and he had 2 of 2 touchbacks. Then we go to Illinois, where we have Dallas Harder. He's a 2027 running back out of Peoria, Notre Dame. He plays for Midwest Bucks. He had 13 carries, 137 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he added 4 tackles on defense. 2027, Colin Schweigen, quarterback out of Rock Ridge High School, in a 61-24 win over Mercer County. In the game, he was 8 of 14 for 194 yards, 5 touchdown passes. Then he had 7 rushes for 65 yards and 1 touchdown rush. So again, for the game, Colin Schweigen out of Rock Ridge, 2027, 8 of 14, 194 yards, 5 touchdown passes, 7 rushes for 65 yards, and a touchdown rush. Now for the season, which for Colin has been 7 games, he has 1,104 passing yards, 564 rushing yards, 1,668 all-purpose yards with 30 touchdowns. That, my friends, is a dual-threat quarterback. Colin Schweigen, 2027, Rock Ridge High School. Then let's move over to Colorado, where I have the guy named every week, Nick Ratty, 2026 quarterback out of Thomas Jefferson, plays for Ducks 7-on-7. He was 11 of 15 for 198 yards and 2 touchdown passes. So he had his weekly standout performance. Nick Ratty, really, really, really great young man. One of my favorite quarterbacks in the entire nation. Then we go to 2027, Cole Rushoff. He's a linebacker out of Cheyenne Mountain. Cheyenne Mountain is now 5-0, and the first time in 32 years that Cheyenne Mountain's got that record. He is a number 11 recruit in Colorado and number 2 linebacker in Colorado. For the season, he has been the Defensive Player of the Week 3 times. Again, he's only had 5 games, and he's won the Defensive Player of the Week 3 times. He has, for the season, 59 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. He has 1 forced fumble and 4 fumble recoveries, which one of them was for a touchdown, and he has 1 pass breakup. Then we go to 2027 wide receiver Brooklyn Bailey out of Mountain Vista. Versus Thunder Ridge, he had 5 catches for 96 yards and 2 touchdown receptions. And later on this weekend, he received an offer from Tulsa. So he's a 2027 wide receiver Brooklyn Bailey out of Mountain Vista. He's already getting offers from Tulsa, so you better get in on him. 2026, Brian Cusack, wide receiver out of Cherokee Trail. For the season, he has 35 receptions, 556 yards, 4 touchdown catches, 104 kickoff return yards, and 13 tackles. Joining him at Cherokee Trail is, I think he's number 1 on the bucket list for my top linebacker in the nation, Nico Mavrabat. Nico Mavrabat is the best linebacker in the country that I've seen. He had 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 QB hurry. Again, Nico Mavrabat is Damage Incorporated. I think that's what I started calling him. Wonderful, wonderful linebacker there. Okay, so we usually, let's do this and finish it off with, let's go outside the Great Plains and go down to the great state of Florida. We have 2028 quarterback Pedro Martinez out of Atlantic High School in a 33-30 win over Coconut Creek. He was 17 of 29 for 328 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and he also added 97 yards rushing with 1 rushing touchdown. 2028 quarterback A.J. Chung out of West Orange High School. He's a Balin Trujillo quarterback, so that means he's good. Balin Trujillo is the best quarterback trainer probably in the nation. If you are a Balin Trujillo quarterback, you are top in the nation. He has offers from USF, Florida Atlantic, Virginia Tech, Arkansas, Purdue, and Syracuse. In one half, A.J. Chung had 17 of 22, 261 yards, and 5 touchdown passes in one half. And he's a 2028. 2026 quarterback Eli Million out of Eastlake High School. He's a 2-sport athlete, again, a really good baseball player. In their 35-24 win, he was 15 of 26 for 220 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 1 8-yard touchdown run. Again, Eli Million, Eastlake High School, 2026. 2027 running back linebacker Chansey Holloman out of 5A High School. He had 8 rushes for 170 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a 55-20 win over Pasco. Chance Holloman out of 5A High School, 2027. Again, 8 rushes for 170 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then he turned around on defense and had 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. So good job. 2027, Sean Hickey, quarterback out of Clearwater Central Catholic, was 10 of 13, 339 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He also added a 50-yard touchdown run in their 51-12 win. 2027, Mickey Vernon, wide receiver out of Tampa Jesuit. He had 171 yards with 3 touchdowns. 2026, Jamari Sanders, a running back out of Boca Ciega. He had 190 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns in their big win. Then we had 2027, Kamari Solomon. He's an athlete out of Oviedo High School, and he is a member of Prime 8 7-on-7. Really good teams there. I think I did a podcast about a lot of their players. Kamari was on there. He had 3 receptions for 50 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Again, he plays for Prime 8, one of my favorite 7-on-7 teams in the nation. Wonderful, wonderful guys there. So that's the report for this week. Again, I implore you coaches to get in on these guys. If you need help getting a hold of any of these guys, please holler at me. I can get a hold of them. Again, DR Sports, we are boots on the ground. So all these guys, I have actually put eyes on. So I've seen these guys play, not just huddle videos. I've actually gone out and seen them play. So again, that's where you'll get the difference. Like I was speaking earlier on that Dallas Owens play. You won't see that on a stat line, but I see it there, so I know what kind of an athlete Dallas Owens is out of Shining Heights. So again, thanks for watching. Keep watching. Keep sending in your stats, and we'll get you going on getting you some exposure. So thanks for joining.